Imagine this. I'm in South America on the north coast of Colombia in a beautiful city by the name of Cartagena. It's 4 a.m. and I'm getting ready to board a flight back to the United States when I realize I am missing my passport. Immediately, I look to the heavens and I ask, what else is possible? Because I know at this point it's going to take a miracle in order for me to get back to the United States. My passport was gone. Not only was my passport gone, but so was my wallet. And at this point, I'm checking what I do have, and thank goodness I at least have my US driver's license and I have my guitar. So I start devising a plan of what I'm going to do. I'm obviously not going to be able to get on my flight, and so I have no money. I'm going to take my guitar out to the street and play as much music as it's going to take in order for me to earn enough money in order to get back to my friends who live on top of a mountain and a beautiful farm that just happens to be 10 hours away from where I am in that moment. So the first 2 days, I end up going out on the streets of Cartagena and I play my heart out. I'm playing music and I'm entertaining people. I am meeting people and I am able to earn a little bit of money. It just isn't enough at this point. But after staying in the Cartagena airport for 3 nights already, I wake up the next morning and I have to get out of this city. So I decide to pack up my bags, hit the road, and start walking all the way to the bus station. 3 hours later, after trekking with my bags and my guitar all the way to the bus station in the blistering heat, dripping in sweat, I arrive at the bus station and I have just enough money to get to Barranquilla, which is the next city over, about halfway in between Santa Marta and Cartagena, Santa Marta being the city I need to get to. So I end up getting on that bus to Barranquilla, and when I arrive, I quickly find a McDonald's nearby and I get a little dose of comfort from that beautiful North American chain. I log on to the free internet and I give my Facebook friends an update on what's going on. Here I am in Colombia. I missed my flight. I have no money. I have no passport. Trying to make it back to my friends. I got my guitar. I'll let you guys know how it goes. So I take my guitar and I go out to the market and I immediately start playing music. After about 90 minutes, I had earned a little bit of money, but still not enough. And in that moment, something inside of me, I just wanted to play this one song of mine in particular. And the second verse of this song, it goes like this. I see Jah in all the places that I travel to. South America, East Asia, and Europe too. Especially the place I call home, Dayton, Ohio. Birthplace of aviation, Edgar Cayce felt the spiral. Now, at the exact moment that those words, Dayton, Ohio, came out of my mouth, I saw the first white dude on a bicycle of the day riding in front of me. And when I say those words, Dayton, Ohio, he stops. He hits his brakes and he looks at me. He says, "Where are you from?" And I tell him, "I'm from Dayton, Ohio. How about you?" And he looks at me and he says, "Really? I'm from Columbus, Ohio." And we look at each other shocked. And he's asking me what's going on? What are you doing, guy? And I explain to him my story, and first he laughs at me. Fair enough. And then, his name was Mark, he goes inside the market, gives me enough money to get on my bus to Santa Marta and be on my way. So how does it get any better than that? I get on that bus, I make my way to Santa Marta, and when I arrive, it's nighttime and it's pouring rain. So they drop me off at an outdoor mall, and there's an overhang that protects you from the rain. So I'm standing there with a bunch of Colombians and just trying to figure out what my next move is going to be. And randomly, a middle-aged Colombian guy comes up to me and we start trying to have a conversation in broken Spanish. Honestly, I have no idea what he was saying to me. He has no idea what I'm saying to him, but he offers me a cigarette and together we smoke. But funny enough, right before he leaves and we finish smoking, he hands me 5,000 Colombian pesos. At this point, I'm relieved because now I know I finally have enough money to get from Santa Marta up into the mountains to a small village called Minca, and from there I can walk all the way to my friend's farm. So I end up making it the next morning all the way to Minca, and before I start my 3-hour trek with my bags up that mountain to my friend's farm, I get back on the internet, I update everybody on what's going on. I tell them about Mark from Columbus, Ohio, my angel. And at that time, people are sending me messages and asking me how they can help me. People are wanting to send me money. And so quickly before I start hiking up the mountain, I just post the link to my PayPal account, don't think anything else about it, and I go back up the mountain. When I arrive there at the farm, I'm greeted by some welcoming faces. I rest and recover, I eat. I stay there for like 5 days, just trying to figure out what I have to do in order to get my passport. Luckily enough, Jason, my good buddy who lives at that farm, he's from Canada, he loaned me some cash in order to make the final leg of my trip. So I end up going back down the mountain, finding out that I need to get back to Barranquilla of all places, where the US consulate is. And before I make it to Barranquilla, I log on the internet and I find that people had donated over $1,500 to me while I had been up at the farm. So relieved and amazed, again asking what else is possible. I'm thoroughly enjoying myself at this point. Shout out to all those people who blessed me. Thank you so much. I make it to the office in Barranquilla only to find out if I go through the Barranquilla office, it's going to take literally 2 weeks for them to process my passport. I don't have 2 weeks. I have to get back immediately to play this music festival. So they tell me that in order to get my passport the same day, I have to travel to Colombia's capital city, Bogota. Now from Barranquilla, there's 2 ways to get there. I could either jump on a 22-hour bus ride, or I could take a 1-hour flight. So I elect to get the flight, thanks to those people who had donated me. And the next morning I arrive in Bogota, immediately jump in a taxi, and make my way to the US Embassy. When I arrive at those gates, I'm greeted by Colombian military men in their full suits and holding their assault rifles, very intimidating. And here I am, this skinny boy from Ohio with disheveled dreadlocks down his back, looking like a homeless person. Come to find out that they're not going to let me in the embassy until I am able to show them proof of my return flight back to the United States. That was the entire reason I went to the embassy, because I lost my flight. So I end up leaving the embassy, walking down the street to the nearest cafe that has internet, and I log online. I start talking to my brother. He helps me buy my flight. We end up choosing a flight for midnight that day. It's a Friday, it's 1 p.m., and I have until 3 p.m. to get back into the embassy and get my passport done, or I can't get it that day. So I run back to the embassy. I show them on my phone my itinerary, and they tell me, I'm sorry, we can't take your itinerary on your phone. We have to have a physical paper copy. Oh my goodness. I run back to the internet cafe. I get my itinerary printed. I sprint my way all the way back to the embassy, just trying to make it in time. And finally, they allow me inside. I'm waiting in line. I'm feeling good now. I'm so close. And I get to the front of the line, and the Colombian woman at the desk, she starts helping me. I share my story with her about what's going on. And then she says, okay, no problem. We can get you your passport. It's just going to be 400,000 Colombian pesos, cash or credit. So I reach into my pocket, grab the remaining money that I have, and it turns out I only have 250,000 Colombian pesos. They're not going to take my PayPal. I don't have a credit card to give them. And so the woman gives me my only option. Go back out into the city, find a random person, a stranger, who would be willing to allow me to wire transfer money to their bank account, and then in return they would give me cash on the spot. So I leave the embassy. I start walking down the street thinking that it's over. There's no way I'm gonna allow this is gonna happen. And I'm on the verge of just giving up and letting my second flight go. And something within me doesn't let me give up. One more time I ask the question, what else is possible? And as I'm walking down the street, there's a coffee shop, and in the coffee shop I see a beautiful Colombian woman. And to me, she just looked like an angel. And so I walked inside the coffee shop, and she greets me in English. Relieved, I'm able to explain to her everything that's going on and tell her my situation. I ask her if I wire transfer money to her bank account, would she be willing to give me the cash? She said, yes, sweetie, I will give you the cash. Here's my information. I wire transfer her the money. She gives me the cash. I run back to the embassy. I'm able to make it in time to get my passport. And at that point, I knew I was safe. It wasn't quite the end of the story. It got a little bit crazier from that point, if you can believe it. But it was enough for me to realize that I finally understood what it was going to take in order for me to get back to the United States after losing my passport. Miracles and angels. What else is possible?